I'm going to be giving away a bunch of Hogyoku fragments, true Hogyoku fragments, and skill boxes in my Discord. So if you want to enter any of those giveaways, join the link in the description. Shy boys, what's good? So today I'm going to be talking about why I think Quincy is easily the best race. Now sure, you can argue that there's a bunch of other good things about the other races too, and you're right. I'm not here to actually complain about Quincy. I'm just here to state that in my opinion, and through the facts, I think that it is. Now starting off with Quincy's base passive that all of them get, that is the blood vein, and also I guess blood artery. Same thing really, it's just you press U, and on top of that, if you press U, you can get a defense or, you know, just switch to a damage buff. It's easy. And since you're able to pick either one of these, you can actually change to, you know, whichever one you want at either time. And on top of that, you get the ability to regen your blood vein through blood artery passively. I mean, its only downside is really that you have to be out of combat for 7 seconds. But other races like a wrong car, you don't get as much damage reduction, but you actually do get more hits that you can take without taking as much damage as you would normally. Either way, I do think that is a big W. So for that, I really do think that Quincy's and Iran cars are probably tied. Now, Soul Reapers in that department, they suck ass. But in return for that, they actually do get shikais, which have 3 moves by default. Instead of having to use like a partial or a cybernetic box to get a 3rd move, you can just spawn with one. And on top of that, shikais are just really damaging. They do a lot of damage. They combo very well. Even the common shikai can compete with a legendary shrift. Like if we compare it to the Quincy commons, right? Let's just say we compare them for a second. I think that shikai easily blows both the other races out of the water, right? Because you got Berserk, you've got Lightning, you've got Creation. There's just a bunch of stuff on common tier for Soul Reapers that you can basically destroy any legendary shrift. And that's the one department where I think Quincy's are kind of lacking compared to other races. I just think that shrifts are probably the weakest ability default mode of any race. And that's not a bad thing because their volts, let's be honest, their volts are insane. They do the most damage in the game. And balance, don't even get me started on balance, bro, because balance does so much damage without even having to hit anybody. You can literally stand there, press X, and die, and your opponents will die instead. Now this genuinely scares me because what about when the Almighty comes out? Huh? How is that gonna work? Are you just gonna like instantly kill anybody? You just dodge every attack, you kill them easily with just a flick of your wrist? I'm like, bro, I don't understand why these things are so powerful. But the only really mode that I can say that keeps up with Volt standings is probably Light Segunda. Like, let's be honest, Light Segunda is genuinely insane. And if you pop a Light Segunda, no matter what they're using, they're probably gonna die. Now, if we're talking about like a Bankai or something, they're 100% cooked. They're just 100% cooked. I'm sorry. Bankais are just not as strong as a Volt standing or a Res, none of that. You're probably gonna die with any Bankai versus at least most reses, but especially to Volt standings, because Volt standings, you get most of them having the revive feature, and you also get them to have a bunch of AoE, a bunch of hyper armor. Like, it's crazy, bro. On top of that, you can have a move more, yes, an extra move more than any other race if you have a cybernetic and you use Volt standing, right? If you use Volt standing and a cybernetic box, you have 6 moves instead of 5, which every race has 5 moves max, unless you're a Quincy, and then you just get a free extra move, which is kind of crazy, but okay. But no, I'm not done. I want to tell you every single thing that Quincy is better in, just to you know, hit the point home. I'm not trying to hate on Quincy's here, even though it sounds like I'm hating on Quincy's. It's just for entertainment purposes. I'm not actually mad, but I just do need to point this out because I don't know, people be saying after the nerfs Quincy's is bad. I be using every race, bro. I know how every race works. I know how they work. As a matter of fact, I'll just tell y'all the best modes right now. Not you know, like full res modes and nothing like that. I'm talking about the like mini modes like Visored, Truelets, and True all the true stuff, I guess. Out of the three, people really be saying that Quincy's is the best still. I completely disagree. I'm sorry, I completely disagree. And their point usually is that boost variant is the best variant out of everything else because it gives you better than true visored at the best. But I just think that's completely false, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because before, yes, it was way better. I made a whole video about it saying it was the best mode in the game, right? But now it got gutted and it's half as good as it was before, which means that it is nowhere near a true visored. So really, you're gonna have to swap off of that to roll onto boost, or not boost, blut variant, because blut variant is actually meta. And I'm gonna tell you why. So blut variant, what it does, basically in a nutshell, it's like having hero variant. So what it does is it gives you passive regen on your blut vein, even if you're in combat, which normally you wouldn't get it unless you were out of combat for 7 seconds. It gives you passive regen on that, plus it gives you 20 extra more just overall blut that you can have in your max stash. But I'm done. Plus it gives you a damage or defense boost that is greater than what it would be normally, which is also very crazy. And it gives you hyper armor on Helig Prefield, which is actually crazy. Hero variant also does something similar where it gives your Cero Oscuras hyper armor and you just can't get stunned out of it or anything. But I just don't think it's as strong as, like, you know, having all of those boosts on top of it. Even though hero variant is good, it also got nerfed along with boost variant, so I don't think it's as good anymore. And that makes me believe that either Quincy's boost, or not boost, blut variant, or the Soul Reaper maxed out best true variant, quote unquote, is probably better. Only downside on that mode is that it doesn't actually give you hyper armor on anything, but it does let you use a new move, so I guess that's something. Okay, so now that we've tied Quincy's and Soul Reapers for the best mode in the game, you could even argue that hero is still pretty good. I just don't think it's as good as it used to be, meaning I'm not going to put it up there. Anyways, let's move on to the race exclusive essences, skill tree, and the weapons, right? So first thing I want to talk about is the weapons, because the weapons are broken, okay? I'd say Quincy's have the second best arsenal of weapons, I guess, in the entire game, other than Arrancar. Arrancar, I think, has the best weapon set in the whole game, especially for Hakata, because with Hakata you get a free block breaking up tilt that it's just so much easier than any of the other crits, which you have to, like, hit them with the crit and then you up tilt it. Like, bro, instead of that you can just press R. Very fun. But other than that, most of the other Arrancar weapons are still pretty good. Like if we're using Neutras or what's that thing, Hollow Burden, they both make you unable to flash step for a set amount of time, which is crazy. No other weapons in the entire game do that. And they've got 3 legendary weapons. On top of that, their common weapons are good. Most of them at least. You can use a lot of them. In my opinion, I do think that Neliel's and the Neutra's spear or scythe thing, whatever that is, those 2 are the best for commons, at least in my opinion. But also we can't forget about Spalton. Unfortunately, the Quincy Glock sucks balls, so they might have to remove that. Maybe a buff to that Quincy Glock. I don't know, bro, because that thing, I would rather use Antithesis or Jugrim's Shield. Really any other common weapon other than that thing. That thing blows bun. And the last thing I want to talk about is the essences. Now the essences, they only have one, but that one essence, man, good lord, that shit is broken. The football field ass radius that this shit has, bro. It is absolutely absurd how I can be 20 miles away from this man and he still hits me with a Shattered Comet. I can't even dodge it because there's like a billion damn hits, and on top of that it stuns me for 10 hours. So unless you get out of the cutscene somehow with like Gigai, you're kind of cooked. I'm sorry, you're kind of cooked. But compared to the other race exclusive essences, I guess the only one that I can see getting close to these or actually no, the only two that I can see getting close to this is maybe Tepusatsu and the Arankar partial essence, maybe. But like, bro, how are you gonna fight this move? It's like Tepusatsu on cocaine, like Colombian crack cocaine, not even regular American cocaine. This shit was imported from Saudi Arabia. But yeah, that's enough of my rant. I hope you guys can now finally agree that Quincy is still the best race. The last thing I'm gonna say in the Quincy's defense, because I'm not a Quincy hater, I'm nobody's hater, but I do want to say that at least Quincy's shrifts don't really pair with other skill trees, as well as other things like resurrections, and you know, shikais would pair as well. But that's just my experience. If you have a crazy combo, hey, that's you, bro. But the balance don't even need a combo. You just press T and then press G and you have max HP again. But yeah, anyways, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Peace.